taking a look at another yarn. This one is Patons Classic Wool Bulky. You can purchase this at yarnspirations.com. This is a bulky yarn, number 5. It calls for a size 11 or 8mm knitting needle, or a size L 8mm crochet hook. If you knit with it, you will get 12 stitches and 16 rows in a 4-inch or 10cm square. If you crochet with it, you'll get 9 single crochets and 10 rows in a 4-inch or 10cm square. It is hand wash, lay flat to dry. You do not, gosh, I can't remember what these symbols are. Let me see here. I think I've got my little card over here. Yes. Do not dry clean. Do not iron. And, you can dry flat out of the sunlight. So now we know what those symbols mean. Each skein is approximately 71 meters or 78 yards. And each skein is 100 grams or 3.5 ounces. It is 100% wool. And 1 ball is enough to make a hat, 2 balls enough to make a scarf, 6 to 12 balls is enough to make a sweater or a cardigan. It's a nice, sturdy, strong, comfortable, soft and cushy yarn. It's not like soft to the touch like a silky yarn would be, but it feels like a wool yarn. And everybody knows that Patons wool is an excellent wool yarn for knitting or crocheting. So let's see what we can try to make with this. The color I have is burgundy. And I have 3 skeins, so I have enough to make a hat and a scarf. That's probably what I'll do, a hat and a scarf set, which would be nice. So I'm going to start using this. Find the strand that's running along the outside that's going to the center, and pull it out from the center because that's the end of the yarn on the outside. And wrap that around the skein and hide it under the label. That's the way I do it anyway. You can do it however you want. And then usually at the other end of the skein is where you'll find the center. So I put a finger inside each end, and I reach in the center here, and I find the center of the yarn. There it is. The more you do that, the easier it'll be. Alright, I'm going to try to knit with it first. It is, let's see how many strands there are. 3. There are 3 strands in the skein, and they're twisted. It has a nice twist to it too. Nice coil. Alright, I'm going to cast on a few stitches here. And I know I'm going to love knitting with this yarn because it just feels wonderful. I love Patons wool. Everything that you make with Patons wool will last, and it'll be very comfortable to wear, and you'll get lots of compliments on it because the yarn just has a nice glow. The stitches stand up nicely. It's an excellent yarn. And of course it knits smoothly. It's easy to work with. This would be a very, very good yarn for a beginner to learn to knit or crochet with, because the yarn is so easy to work with. And it flows nicely with your hands. Your hands don't cramp while you're working with it. It's just an excellent yarn. Knit a few rows. And of course your stitch definition is going to be perfect with this yarn. You'll be able to see cables nicely, and lace, anything that you want to make with this yarn. You're going to be able to see every single stitch very clearly. It's just a very nice premium wool yarn. Excellent. And you'll be proud of everything you make with it. I'm using vintage yarn knitting needles right now. These are my favorite size 11 knitting needles. And I have no idea how to get any more. I think I got them on eBay a long time ago. But I love them. Alright, now I'm going to purl a row. This is a yarn that you could make something very quickly with if you are a fast knitter or crocheter. You can make something really fast with this because the yarn just flows so nicely. And it would work well for any kind of complicated stitches for doing slip, slip, knit, knit two together, purl two together, knit three together, purl three together. All those stitches would work very easily because the yarn just has a nice body to it and it flows, easy to use. And it would work well with pretty much any kind of knitting needles. Aluminum, wood, bamboo, whatever. Just a good all-around yarn. The only thing to consider when you're making a project with wool yarn like this is that you need to know how to take care of your finished product. Because you can't just throw it in the washer and the dryer. If you do, it'll shrink. That's called felting. You'll see what I mean if you ever make the mistake of washing and drying something made with 100% wool. It shrinks and the fabric will turn solid. And there is no way to get it big again. So, to take care of a wool garment, you should follow the label. Hand wash it, or you could use the Eucalan wool wash. You'll be able to read lots of information about that on the internet. But the way I take care of my hand knit wool garments is I wash them by hand with shampoo or Woolite or anything that's made safe for wool, and then I rinse it with the same temperature water, and then I press it dry with a towel, and then I lay it out into shape and I let it dry that way. And sometimes I will need to block it. It depends on the project. So you learn by experience what's the best way to wash your wools. Anyway, so there we see the garter stitch and we see the stockinette, and you can see the stitch design very clearly. It's a perfect yarn for knitting. So now we're going to crochet with it. I like this bulky weight yarn. It's so easy to make a fast project with. Do some single crochets here. Up a piece of trash there. Sometimes I go under 2 strands on the first row, and sometimes I go under 1. It just depends on my mood. This time I'm doing it under 2. I can hear birds singing outside. It's just about to become spring. It's March the 9th today, 2015. So spring will be here soon. There's that. I'm going to turn. Get the turning chain. We'll do one more row of singles. It works very well. This is such an easy yarn to work with. It feels good in the hands. Remember when I was just talking about how to wash your wools? Some wool yarns are not, you won't have to be careful with because they are designed for being able to be hand washed. They're called superwash wool. So if you buy yarn, make sure to check if it's regular wool or if it's superwash wool. I had a friend of mine who wanted to make a felted purse, and you know, she wanted it to shrink on purpose in the washing machine and dryer to make it a felted item, and she made it with superwash wool and it wouldn't felt. She was so brokenhearted. So be sure to check the label for whatever you need your project to become. If you want it to be felted, get regular wool like this. This will felt well. So there's single crochets. Now let's do some doubles or half doubles. I think I'll do half doubles. And of course it's going to flow beautifully. I like Patons Classic Wool Bulky. It's a good yarn. I like this color too. I think it'll make a nice hat and scarf set. There. Now you can see some half doubles. I'll do some doubles. Crochet eats up yarn so fast, doesn't it? Because it makes a double thick fabric. Oh, that was not right. There we go. There. There we go. So now you've seen single crochets, half doubles, and doubles. Works very well. I hope you enjoy using your Patons Classic Wool Bulky yarn. I'm having a good time with it, and I can't wait to make my hat and scarf. Talk to you later. Bye.